Listen, before we get into I want to look at all your grinders, but before we do that, I got some questions for you because I consider you to be kind of like my grinder guru, man. Like I'd rather do nugs, but and I've got a couple grinders that I like, but like, what's up with like grinder teeth? I have a catalog that I've looked through because I'm choosing grinders right now, and you can get them square or diamond, which look pretty similar. They've got like a Batman shape and an S shape, and they got all these different shaped teeth. What the fuck is that all about? Like, I mean,
Yeah, man. So the diamond shape is like basically the starter shape. It's like the default shape. And the way these aluminum grinders are made is they're made out of like a piece of aluminum bar stock, like a round piece of aluminum, and they go into a CNC mill, and a little bit goes in and carves out all the spots, and it just leaves the teeth behind. So the more intricate those teeth are, the more work that machine has to do. So when somebody made the first grinder out of aluminum and they designed that CNC program to go in and do it, it was the simplest thing, and that method left those diamond teeth. And then as that grinder got ripped off, or that software, that CNC pattern got shared throughout the industry, everyone kind of based it off of that. And it is just like a, basic teeth scissor shape. So I think that's why it's so common. Like the diamond pattern is so common because like that was the start of it.
Okay. But is there a difference like to the user?
Totally. But here's the thing. I don't want to say that diamond is basic and anything else is an upgrade, because that is fucking not the case. I have some grinders in my stash that have some fancy teeth that the teeth are what fuck it up. They would be better with the diamond tooth. But take the Santa Cruz, for example, the Santa Cruz shredder. That's the one with like the serrated teeth, and those teeth, not only do they stay cleaner and stay sharper, but they grind easier, like they cut easier because there's leverage going on. Rather than having two blades like this, there's only two points of contact for the blades. So there's a lot of leverage going on with the Santa Cruz. Plus, that makes the grind more fluffy. And I will say that Santa Cruz, in my opinion, has the nicest and fluffiest grind consistency out of all of the grinders. Even nicer than the Brilliant Cut. Like if the Brilliant Cut could improve anything, it would be a nicer, fluffier grind, because the Santa Cruz wins in that department, in my opinion. Speaking of Santa Cruz, Jerry, I have a clip. I relaunched my Santa Cruz review on the Troy Time 420 channel.
Oh,
let me show you a little highlight of that real quick. Is that cool?
Please do.
So what makes Santa Cruz Shredder the best? A lot of things. A lot of things make this thing the best. For one, it has the best grind consistency out of all of the grinders in my collection. Even the Brilliant Cut. The Brilliant Cut is my favorite grinder in the world, but the Santa Cruz Shredder still has a better grind. Like the actual material that comes out of the Santa Cruz Shredder is fluffier, more consistent, better cut, less mutilated. This has the best grind consistency out of all of the grinders on the market. It's perfectly fluffy. It's perfectly broken up. It works perfectly for vapes or for smoking. And I've used this grinder with all of my vapes. Some people say that vapes need a super fine or a coarse or a medium. The Santa Cruz Shredder has just worked with everything. Let's talk about the teeth. The teeth remain sharp. I've used this grinder for many, many years, and it's so sharp. Oops, that's the wrong end. That's what she said. The teeth of the Santa Cruz Shredder are different than most cheap grinders. Usually cheap grinders have like diamond shaped teeth. You can see here the Santa Cruz Shredder teeth are a little bit more squared with scalloped sides and serrations. You can see there's little serrations on the teeth. Those little serrations make it a lot easier to turn your grinder when you cram it full of weed. Imagine like scissors. Like if you had scissors and the blades only went like this, like where the whole length of the blade touches the other blade at the same time, it's a lot of friction, a lot of contact. So all those different teeth touching all at the same time on those diamond grinders, it's a lot of effort to do that. The teeth of the Santa Cruz are serrated, so they're They're a little more like this. So they're almost like a cigar cutter, where they're using leverage. So there's less contact point. There's more cutting and less friction. So all those teeth have these little scallops. You know, there's 2 scallops on each tooth. So when they go by, it's a little easier to turn, and they stay sharper, and they make the grind really fluffy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying here, bro. I hadn't looked that closely at the teeth. They're like double. Yeah, right on, man. So that's why it gets. Well, is that why it gets fluffy and consistent?
I think it's why it gets fluffy and consistent, and that's what Matt, the CEO of Santa Cruz, that's what he agreed. You know, when I spoke with him, and that's also why it's easy to grind. Like as you're grinding, you put a nug in there and turn. The Santa Cruz is easier to turn.
So do they have a patent on them teeth? Like, how come everybody just didn't do the same teeth?
I'm pretty sure they do. And I don't know how all that shit works. And I know there are some grinders on the market that have ripped off their teeth, like that basically have the same tooth design.
Yeah.
But the tooth shape makes a big difference. And then other grinders change the tooth shape into ways where it actually inhibits the grinder and causes more problems. If I can find this example, here it is. So this grinder, teeth on this grinder here, see how they're
they're funky.
They're funky, and they're kind of triangle shaped, like little pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, as it's grinding, the little pyramids, every time they go by each other, they build up a little bit of material, and then it forms like a clicking sound. So as this grinder gets gunked up, it's like click, 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 click.
The wax is pulling from itself.
Yeah, it's so cringy. Such a cringy experience.
Fuck that, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So teeth matter. Teeth definitely matter. Oh man,
Jesus,
I don't know
look
where
at that, man.
I don't know where my grinder is. Which grinder is my
Fuck
meat
you.
in?
Anybody seen my grinder? Not that one. That's funny, dude.